Dear students, welcome to the physics class. Today we will discuss Bohr's theory of hydrogen-like atom, an important topic for exam perspective. Okay, here is an electron having mass m moving with velocity v in its orbit. Here is Ze, the nuclei, where Z is the atomic number. Okay, and r is the radius of this orbit. So, according to Bohr, electron gets necessary centripetal force for revolving in its orbit by the electrostatic attraction force between nucleus and the electron. Okay, necessary centripetal force by the electrostatic attraction force between nucleus and the electron. When we equal the two formula of these, then we get mv square is equal to 1/4 pi epsilon naught Ze square upon r. Equation number 1. From Bohr's quantization condition, Bohr's first hypothesis, mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi. Squaring both sides, we get m square v square r square is equal to n square h square upon 4 pi square. Equation number 2. Equation number 2 divided by equation number 1, we get r is equal to n square h square epsilon naught upon pi mz e square. Equation number 3. Here h, epsilon, pi, m, z e square all are constant. Okay, all are constant. So we get r directly proportional to n square. R directly proportional to the square of the principal quantum number. Okay, here are the values of h, m, epsilon naught and e. Here epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Permittivity of free space means capability of a vacuum to permit electric field. Capability of a vacuum to permit electric field. Okay, so radius of first orbit, that is n is equal to 1 of hydrogen atom, we get r1 is equal to 0.53 angstrom. If we put all these values to this formula, okay, then h square epsilon naught pi m z e square we get by calculating 0.53 angstrom, and for n is equal to 1 we get r1 is equal to 0.53 angstrom. And the radius, similarly, radius of second orbit, that is n is equal to 2 of hydrogen atom, we get r2 is equal to 4 into 0.53 angstrom. Okay, 4 because of n square. If we put n is equal to 2, then we get 4. Okay, similarly, radius of third orbit, that is n is equal to 3 of hydrogen atom, we get r3 is equal to 9 into 0.53 angstrom. You can see the radius increases in the form 1 ratio, 4 ratio, 9 ratio, 16 ratio, up to so on. Okay, now next, velocity of electron in stationary orbit. Since we know mvr is equal to nh upon 2 pi, then we get v is equal to nh upon 2 pi m r. We already calculate the value of r. When we put the value of r from equation number 3, we get v is equal to 1 upon n z e square upon 2h epsilon naught. Again, z e square upon 2h epsilon naught are constant. That is velocity of electron in stationary orbit. It inversely proportional to the principal quantum number. That means electron moves faster in inner orbits when we compare it to the outer orbits. Okay, electron moves faster in inner orbits and slower in outer orbits. Okay, the derivation is not done yet. Okay, I write the formula of radius of electron and velocity of electron here. Okay, now energy of electron in stationary orbits. The total energy of electron is the sum of kinetic energy of electron plus potential energy of electron. Kinetic energy of electron is due to its motion and potential energy of electron due to its position. So k is equal to half mv square and potential energy u is equal to 1/4 pi epsilon naught Ze into minus e upon r, where Ze is the nuclei and minus e is electron. Okay, we have the value of V here. So after putting the value of V, we get ZE square upon 8 pi epsilon naught R. And after subtraction, we get minus ZE square upon 8 pi epsilon naught R. We have the value of R. Okay, we have the value of R. So after putting the value of R, we get lastly, finally, E is equal to minus 1 upon N square mz square e to the power 4 upon 8 epsilon naught square H square. Okay, this is constant term. So E directly proportional to 1 upon N square. E directly proportional to 1 upon N square. Here total energy comes minus. Minus means electron is bounded to the nuclei. Energy is minus, that means electron is bounded to the nuclei. And E directly proportional to 1 upon N square means electron which is moving in inner orbits have high energy compared to the electron which is moving in outer orbits. Okay, so origin of spectral lines. Suppose an electron comes back from higher energy state E2 to lower energy state E1. Okay, then by using this formula, we get E2 minus E1 is equal to mz square e to the power 4 upon 8 epsilon naught square H square into 1 upon N1 square minus 1 upon N2 square. E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu, Bohr's third postulate. H nu is equal to itna. Mu is equal to C upon lambda, we know the formula, and 1 upon lambda is equal to Hc goes to denominator. Okay, 8 epsilon naught square Ch cube. Now here 1 upon lambda is equal to, we replace m e to the power 4 upon 8 epsilon naught square Ch cube by R. Here R is Rydberg constant. R is Rydberg constant. Okay, and the value of Rydberg constant is 1.097 into 10 to the power 7 meter inverse. Okay, here is the calculation. Now 1 upon lambda is wave number. Wave number means number of complete wave in a unit length. So here for different values of N1 and N2, we get different wave number. That means the spectra of the atom is line spectra, not continuous spectra. Okay, now the topic is done. Most important topic for the examination prospective. Okay, so the topic is done. Do practice yourself now.